I have got some ghost stories for you.
I feel something crawl into the bed with me and it starts to spoon me.
There was a time where I would be in bed falling asleep and I would hear my name being called. Different voices call my name.
Poof, the person disappeared right in front of our eyes.
And we were both like, did you see that?
There was this figure of a woman. Her skin was bluish and her hands were clawed and her mouth was wide open.
So that is my ghost story.
Hi, and welcome to Haunted AF, the podcast of real ghost stories told by real people. We are your hosts. I'm Julie Fisk.
And I'm Rebecca Black.
Did you hear that? My mouth stopped working for just a minute.
That was wild.
Coming up, we have got some wild glitch in the matrix stories.
Maybe that was a glitch in the matrix, your mouth.
A grumpy grandpa ghost.
Ooh.
And one about flies that's really freaky.
Okay.
It's weird.
I'm a little scared of that. But first, we need to say hi and thanks to our friends, the Ghost Story Guys. We actually did a feed swap with them this week to help promote their new show, Fear Daily, which probably confused the hell out of most of you. We understand.
Yeah, it's like, what am I listening to and why is it in my feed?
Exactly. But we're hoping to do more feed swapping with like-minded podcasts in the future. So remember, go find the original Ghost Story Guys podcast because they have some really fun and also informative stuff.
Yeah. And Fear Daily, of course, check that out as well. So let's go ahead and let's just do it.
Okay.
Let's jump in. This story comes from Daniel.
Julie, Rebecca, my name's Daniel. I'm from Popped Entertainment Review. It's a show on YouTube. Plus, we're on all the podcatchers. We review shows. Actually, we talk about shows that have influenced us throughout our lives, television, film, etc. I've been a long time listener, first time, messenger, emailer? I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You guys are asking for stories, and I have a little tidbit for you from when I was in high school. We lived in a little bungalow style house in California in the 1980s. And we had a ghost that would run up and down the hallways, do things like pull the pictures off of the walls and set them down on the ground. But what I really want to tell you about is the day I stayed home from school and I sat down in the recliner in the living room and I had the television on. And right next to me to my right was an add-on room. It used to be the back of the house, and that wall had a window in it. So there's no plumbing, there's no anything in that wall to create the circumstances that started to happen as I'm sitting there watching television. I don't know what I was watching, doesn't matter, but I heard a knock on the wall, a distinctive knock. I just ignored it, went back to watching television. Then I heard a knock again. Then it happened twice, thump, thump. And I looked up, immediately thought, that's weird. Went back to watching television. Thump, thump, thump. So now I'm starting to wonder what's going on. So I get up and I walk to the room. I open the double doors. Obviously, there's nothing in the room. So I go back and I sit back down. No sooner do I get relaxed in that recliner than I hear thump, 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 thump. And I jump out of that chair. I swear I almost shat myself. It panicked me so bad. I ran into the kitchen. I pulled a knife out of the butcher block, ran around the house screaming, "Leave me the hell alone!" Probably didn't use the word hell, but it is your show, so I don't want to just throw curses out there. Anyway, I'm running around the house screaming at the top of my lungs, and when I finally stop, it is dead silent. You couldn't hear a pin drop. So I went back, sat down on the recliner with my legs Indian style, holding a knife on my lap, breathing heavily. And I went back to watching television and nothing else happened after that. I moved out a couple weeks later. And apparently, as soon as I moved out, my sister told me that the activity started up again.
Oh, no!
So that is my ghost story.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. There's something about being home alone, sick from school or something,
right?
This just so incredibly spooky.
Also, it's during the day. It's daylight, which makes it extra creepy. I don't know why that is for me. There's something about a haunting in the daylight that I do not like.
Oh, yeah. It also reminds me of that time when I was working with Tony Zaza at KVIL super early in the morning. And I went to the bathroom. And in that building, the men's rooms and the women's rooms, the walls, they shared a wall.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my thing. and Tony and John went in there. Do you remember this?
I don't, but I think I have an idea of where it's going.
And they were like 1, 2, 3, and both started pounding on the wall as hard as they could. The whole thing was shaking.
Oh my God.
I think I peed all over myself. I like literally jumped up, pulling my pants back on. I'm like, I thought the building was coming down.
Yeah,
literally, because yeah. And then I could hear them out in the hall.
Were you there when we had the Justin Timberlake cutout?
No,
we had a life-size Justin Timberlake cutout, and I put it in the girls' room.
Oh my God!
So that when the door, you would open the door into the bathroom, right? And then when the door shut, Justin Timberlake would be there.
Oh my God, that's amazing!
I don't know if it freaked anybody out or not, because I'm not gonna take a camera into the bathroom, but I tried,
dude. That's amazing. Yes, send us how you with your coworkers too. We need that.
We love that.
Yeah, absolutely. We had to send out some love to our friend Lisa. She shared the 4-Pug weekend story with us a few years ago. She sends us so many great stories. I just love Lisa so much. Well, apparently libraries around the country are starting to loan out ghost hunting equipment.
That is awesome.
Yes. So the article actually mentions Clark County libraries in Ohio and also the Wilsonville Library in Oregon, but it's allegedly happening all over the country. So the ghost hunting kit that they're loaning out usually includes a spirit box and an EMF detector and then a recorder so you can catch all of it, and a backpack so you can carry it all around.
Cool.
So I checked with the Dallas Public Library and they said, no, we're not doing that.
Of course not.
But they seemed kind of interested in the idea.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. But if y'all would do us a favor, check with your local library, see if they're doing this, and let them know that you would love it if they would do this. And we'll include the story in our companion blog.
Okay.
So everybody, wouldn't that be fun?
I think that would be so fun.
Because the stuff is expensive.
It is.
And they even said in the article, it's like $250 worth of gear that they're loaning out. So they have to be pretty careful with it. Like you have to do face-to-face to pick it up and return it. But that'd be saving a lot of money.
Agreed.
All right, here's our next story. And I hope the person introduces themselves because I can't remember who sent this one in.
No.
Sorry.
Hey, ladies. I actually have 2 stories about when I used to live with my sister, but I will send this separately because it's a little bit longer. There was definitely a ghost that lived in the house. It was an older man, and her house was built in like the early 1900s. So it had a wake room right off of their living room. Never felt him down there though. It was always in their spare bedroom, which was right next to my room, but it had those old vents in the floor where it's like a foot tall or whatever. And it's just got that really old looking grate on it. And you could hear conversations between a man and a woman every single night through that vent, which was right by my head and my bed. There was one time my best friend at the time and I were sitting there watching TV. We had our feet up on the coffee table, and all of a sudden the coffee table shook and both of our feet go up in the air with our hands. Like, did that just happen at the very same time? Never actually saw him, but he let you know he was there. Oh yeah, there is actually a picture of his funeral or his wake. Yeah, his casket. My sister has a picture. I'll see if I can track that down for you.
Yeah, you want to see
Why?
it?
Why does she have a picture of that?
I don't know, and I agree. I feel the same way.
Yes, I do want to see it.
Do you want to see it?
Of course.
So
oh
here's.
my gosh, that's beautiful flowers. You can actually see the dead body in it.
I know. There
oh my
he
God,
is.
That's wild.
I feel real weird looking at this.
I know.
Like, should we
my
even have this? I
gosh.
think I'm going to blur out his face or
That's
something.
probably a smart thing to do.
Yeah, because I don't want him haunting my ass.
That's wild. Why is there a photograph of him?
Yeah. And like, it seems like his family would have that. Like,
I would think. Why would these random girls do?
Ooh, thank you for that, Tracy.
Oh,
we got some really good news from our friend Brittany Barbieri yesterday.
I saw this.
Isn't this cool?
I'm so excited for her.
Yeah. So Brittany is a ufologist. She was on the podcast with us in 2022. She was actually in our season 8 finale because that's when things were getting shot down out of the sky. Remember that? After the Chinese spy balloon, and then we never heard what was getting shot out of the sky.
All of those stories like essentially disappeared from the planet.
They just went away.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, anyhow, Brittany has a new show coming to Discovery called Lost Monster Files.
So excited for her.
Oh, it takes a look at files that belong to Ivan Sanderson, who's considered the godfather of cryptozoology. I think he passed away like in the 90s, but they're taking a modern approach to all of his stories, and the trailer looks like so much fun.
Awesome.
So we are talking to Brittany. We're going to try to get her back on the pod, but it debuts this week. By the time this episode drops, it will be available. So go watch it and let us know what you think about it.
Cannot wait, Brittany. We're so excited for you. All right, our next story comes from Dottie. I guess this would be considered a glitch in the Matrix story. In the summer of 2020, I was driving down a street and saw the cutest sewing basket out by the road in front of a house. Figuring the owner had put it there to be picked up by the trash collector, I snagged it and took it home. I opened it and found that it was full of everything you could want in sewing essentials. I took everything out, carefully organized it all, and thoroughly cleaned the inside out before replacing all of the items. I used it all the time for basic sewing repairs. So fast forward 6 months, my husband had a house painting business for years, and winters were particularly slow. It was in early December of 2020, after the COVID lockdown, and people were still uncomfortable about strangers coming into their homes. I had been laid off, so I was working with my husband painting houses. We were barely scraping by and barely able to buy groceries, not to mention that Christmas was on the way. One day, my husband brought a shirt to me that had some buttons missing. So I grabbed my sewing kit and started looking for what I needed when I noticed some green paper in the bottom of the basket. I pulled them out, and to my complete shock, it was 2 neatly folded $100 bills. I almost fainted. To this day, I have no idea how they got there. We were able to buy groceries and make it until we got paid again, just in time for Christmas.
How amazing is that?
Oh, that's so wonderful.
So 2 things. What the fuck is going on over there? I swear I keep hearing something over there.
I'm telling you, it's a raccoon. We have raccoons in our building from time to time. It's not a ghost. It might be. We are in the haunted area.
So have you ever had that moment where you like really need money and then money just magically shows up?
Yes, it's always in a coat pocket. There's always a 20 in my coat pocket.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Okay, that's something. These are other stories that we need, because I remember one time I was so broke and I went to pull my last 20 out of the ATM in college, and it was actually 2 20s stuck together.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great?
That's amazing.
And my friends, Steve Massicott and Brad Taylor, some of my best buddies from high school, had this story where they were sitting in a car, they were out of money, and they were literally praying out loud, "We need money,
please, Jesus."
please." And that like a $10 bill like flew up on their windshield.
No freaking way.
I don't know if it's true or not. They have told that story as long as I can remember. But if you guys have those stories, please let us know. hauntedafpodcast@gmail.com. But speaking of glitches in the Matrix, I found a really fun Facebook page.
Ooh.
It's called Matrix Mysteries.
Okay.
And it's all glitch in the Matrix stories.
Awesome.
So I found this one and I asked them if we could use it. And the story is, around 8 or 9 years ago, my girlfriend and I had just gotten back to my apartment from the beach. She went to the bedroom and lay down. I locked the door, which just had a regular lock and a chain lock on top. And then I went and laid down with her and we both fell asleep. When I woke up, I checked my Snapchat and saw there was a photo taken of us sleeping on my story. So it was taken from the middle of the room about an arm's length away from us. I checked the locks, including the one of the sliding glass doors, and they were all still locked. My girlfriend was just as confused as I was.
Yeah.
Still to this day, neither one of us understand it. And in the comments, there are a ton of people who've had similar stories.
That is so creepy.
So again, that's from the Matrix Mysteries Facebook page, which is so much fun.
Oh, that's a good story.
It also reminded me, though, we had a story a long time ago from Emily about the Elsa doll that kept coming back. And then she started talking about how her son was being haunted by his imaginary friend named Luca.
Yeah.
And then she would find pictures on her phone.
Absolutely.
Of her, like the back of her son's head.
That is so freaking creepy
That
to me.
All right. So our final story this week comes from Ashley.
Good morning. I absolutely love your show, and I have brought it to my mother and some other coworkers too.
Thank you.
Of the creepy type. We absolutely love it. I just wanted to share at least one of the stories that I've experienced, and I have plenty more from my mother's childhood as well. We see a lot of things happen in our house as far as like things just randomly falling over. One night when my mother and I were discussing my deceased brother, the light in the back room and the light in the front room flickered on and off for about 20 seconds or so. That's never happened before. Another thing is I've heard my son talking to somebody, and when I asked who he was talking to, he said he was talking to my deceased brother, and my brother was explaining why he he died. And I never told my son the details of that. And he repeated some things that he never heard from any of us.
Wow.
On another occasion, we had several dogs here. I do dog boarding while I work remotely from home. And they were growling. All of them were growling out the front door. And then I stopped them because I'm trying to work. And then they immediately went back to doing it again. And when I came into the front room, they were in a semicircle, just all growling out the door. And I saw 5 flies, and they were just sitting there. And I stood there for a second. The dogs were still growling. And I went up towards the flies, and they did not move. So I went over and I essentially poked the fly to see what was happening, and it just fell to the ground. The other ones did not move until I knocked them off the wall. They seemed completely lethargic out of it. I don't know what the problem was. They were larger, so they were not little baby flies. I don't know what baby flies can and can't do, but these flies were doing nothing. And that's just been a really strange experience in this house, as well as there are many more.
Holy shit.
Flies that don't move.
So the flies are just stuck to the wall.
Yeah.
And the dogs are all standing around
Barking at them.
And they don't move until she flicks them off the wall. Exactly. I don't know what it is about that, but it is icky. It freaks me out in a big way.
Well, because we know flies.
Right.
Flies don't just stay still. They always move. They're always moving.
They're always flying.
Yeah, hence the name, flies. Oh, how completely obvious, Rebecca.
Yeah. And then to have multiples just sitting there.
5.
Oh,
staring at you. I don't know what the hell that is, but I do not like it.
That's a great story, Ashley. Thank you.
So good. All right, you guys.
Wait, I got to tell a story real quick.
Fly story.
This is horrible. I should not tell the story, but I'm going to tell it anyhow.
I like it.
One time there was a horsefly like going through our house, and he was so big and loud that it sounded like a dog stumbling around. And I just remember it finally landed on our window in the kitchen, and I just grabbed something and smacked it really quick. And then I looked, the reason it was moving so slowly is because it was carrying babies.
Oh, you killed a family.
I killed the mom, but then there was a whole bunch of the babies and my daughters were both screaming.
Oh, no.
It was one of the grossest, saddest, most horrible. Like I was so conflicted in so many ways. Okay, now you can do your
Those little
thing.
baby horseflies are telling that story to their other friends now.
Yes, yeah.
Remember when that lady killed our mom?
Yeah, to the therapist, the horsefly therapist right now. Okay, do the thing.
Okay, you guys, we've got some fun stuff coming up in our next episodes. We're going to chat with the hosts of My Paranormal Life, which is actually one of our favorite new podcasts right now. It's hosted by 2 comedians out of the UK. Hello, Governor.
Yes.
Sorry,
yes.
I can't resist.
No, they do it.
And they take famous tours of haunted locations, then decide if they are really haunted, which is, how have they not asked us to tag along?
Well, because they're in the UK. Like, who's going to pay for that?
They will.
They
I'm
will.
volunteering them now. They're gonna take us up on this offer, and then we're gonna go shit on haunted places too.
It's Kit and Rory.
Oh my God.
They are precious. They're adorable. Yes. So go find them. That's My Paranormal Life. We're also going to hear from Laura Krantz of the Wild Thing podcast. We've had her on multiple times. She's got new children's books about magic right now, and then the truth that some of the magic is based on. And she said she found some really scary stuff that she's going to share with us. That's coming up soon.
Can't wait. In the meantime, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. That way you can keep up with everything that we're doing this month. Go binge all of the exclusive content that we have on patreon.com/hauntedaf.
And send us those stories, pretty please. We take them written, recorded, audio or video, because we love ghosts, Bigfoot, aliens, glitches, Mothmen, bunyips, snallygasters, and puckwudgies. Since we were talking about cryptids early, that's snallygasters. That's in honor of Brittany. Send all that good stuff to hauntedafpodcast@gmail.com so we can use it on the next Haunted AF.